So when we say the furu' ad-din, we mention al-amr bil ma'ruf wa nahi al munkar. I believe all human beings should be practicing this. And every human would agree that you must, when you see something bad, you denounce it. Turn on the media. Once a person does something bad that suits the narrative, that suits the group they want to vilify or demonize or dehumanize, they always mention they're bad. Subhanallah. So people have this urge to do this. Speaking the truth is to utter sentences that have assertions, beliefs, thoughts, or propositions that agree with reality. Is that making sense? I'll say that again. Assertions, thoughts, beliefs, understandings maybe, that agree with reality. What that means is that if someone asks me a description of the chair in front of me, I'll say it's a steel frame chair and it is purple. That's honesty, that's speaking the truth. Because when you observe it yourself, you'd say what he's saying is agreeing with the reality of that chair. Very simple example in front of us. So the dishonest person is the person who speaks, and when their speech is delivered and the meaning is delivered, it doesn't agree with reality. So in other words, to figure out if someone's honest, you have to listen to what they say, and when whatever they say is in question, it does agree, and you go do some research. What did that person say? What's that narration? It sounds funny to me. What's that fact? They call it fact checking, seeing if speech agrees with the reality on the ground. That's called fact checking. And people naturally love the truth. Even the dishonest person loves the truth. You know, the dishonest person, he lies to you, but when you lie to them back, they get upset. They want to lie, but they want to hear the truth themselves. Humans naturally love the truth. And when a person is honest, the importance of their speech becomes greater in the eye of the person that's listening. In fact, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi was so honest that the people were at a level, if he announces his prophethood, they'd believe him. Because he has a track record. He has a history of honesty. So whatever he says next, we assume. So inshallah, we have an understanding of what the truth actually means. And you find that we ruin the truth. Parents ruin the truth. I'm a parent, I'll tell you, I ruin the truth sometimes. How? My daughter wants to do something. Can we go? I say, inshallah. In my family, or when I was growing up, when I heard inshallah from my mum, it was a no. Insha'Allah, if Allah wills. It's a great statement. When we say a word and the meaning is something else, language fails. People can't communicate anymore. Because you're saying a word but it means something else. You're changing the meaning of words. You see the point? Do you see how important this is? I'm speaking to myself. And in a world where there's a battle of good and evil, levels of good, levels of evil, it's hard to say who's absolutely good and who's absolutely evil. Likewise, there's a battle of truth and falsehood. This is a battle. The media, when you go on any channel, whether it's in the Western world or the Eastern world, there's the host, and the host is supposed to be the mediator, the fact checker, the person who is looking to find the truth. So they bring in two people. One has one perspective, is from one background, and they get another person of another perspective, of another background, and they ask relevant questions. So we can somehow have a debate and see if we can come to the truth. What's the issue here? It relies on the person hosting, the third party, to be just, to agree to what is good and what is bad. They need to be moral people. What's the problem? Sorry, this discussion is a bit philosophical, but I really want you to think about this. What's the problem? The person has a different morality perhaps to one person A and person B. So he will confirm what one person who is like him says, and he will negate what the person next to him says. Take the same two people, take them to another part of the world, the host agrees with person A and they disagree with person B. Subhanallah, what a confusing time we live in. How can we agree on anything? You see? Allah Azza wa Jal, He premises that the only way to know haqq and batil is to know al-haq, Allah Azza wa Jal. You won't find a person who knows truth 100% unless they are aligned with Allah Azza wa Jal. And they are aligned with the people of truth. And you want to follow the best of people, which is why we as Mawaleen, with respect to other Muslims in the world, our brothers and sisters, our hearts and our souls, we have disagreements, positive disagreements, but disagreements, that we believe that the Ahlulbayt are the highest source of truth. Because Allah Azza wa Jal put them in that position. And Allah is the truth, so therefore they are the truth. And they manifest what Allah manifests. So truth is important. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, قُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. The nature of truth is that it has a moving force. This ayat is telling us something. The only way to remove falsehood is to insert truth. Truth doesn't naturally happen with the human species. It's natural to the soul of a human, but it doesn't naturally happen in the human species. Why? If people are disconnected from Allah Azza wa Jal, what's their purpose in life? To gain. Their maslahah. What benefits them? Truth and falsehood is irrelevant in a person who's looking for their benefit. If they have to lie to get the job, they'll lie. If they have to tell the truth to get the job, they'll tell the truth. Whatever makes them get to that thing that puts the money in their pocket, in that position. So you find that the only way to maintain truth in this world is it has to be mentioned. It has to be spoken. That if you see something false, you have to mention it. Inshallah, I know I've confused you because you're thinking we're all going to disagree. Humans agree on many things naturally. Inshallah, we'll get to that point. There are natural things we all agree on. All agree on, inshallah. With a salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And because when truth is mentioned, batil is zahiq, it's fleeting, it's removed, it's destroyed, truth has an energy to it. Truth can make an oppressed people rise. Sometimes people are so oppressed, they got used to their condition. Alhamdulillah. The statement of a believer, praising Allah Azza wa Jal, but at the same time, the conditions change the meaning of Alhamdulillah. Sometimes Alhamdulillah, when we say it, our meaning is, I accept defeat. It's not a problem. Alhamdulillah is to praise Allah having rida. Rida biqada illah is to be content with what Allah has decided. But who said Allah decided your oppression? Allah did not decide the oppression of a believer or any human being. Oppression, wallahu laysa bidhallamin lil abid. Allah doesn't oppress anyone. If you're oppressed, you say Alhamdulillah that we're still here, Alhamdulillah, we're living, we're surviving, Alhamdulillah, with strength, but you never say Alhamdulillah for the conditions you're in. And only truth can release that in a person. We're not supposed to be defeated, whatever the situation is. Whatever the situation is. Why do we avoid the truth? Why do people, sometimes not yourself, I don't want to be harsh with my dear brothers and sisters who may be listening, or anyone who's listening online. Inshallah, they're listening online. The truth impacts us psychologically. You know, there's a famous cartoon where it says uncomfortable truths and pleasant say farces or say falsehoods. And the line for a pleasant falsehood, he goes out the door, and the line for unpleasant truths is one person there. You find sometimes the truth affects you psychologically, because maybe, you know, for example, you say a speech and you ask your friend's opinion about the speech, and your friend knows you're sensitive, so he'll say, it was great, it was fantastic, I really enjoyed it, content was good, delivery was great. But deep down, it was rubbish. It was terrible. It wasn't a good speech. You were stammering, you were all over the place, you didn't know what you were talking about, no points made any sense. Now, the friend, if he tells you a falsehood, he doesn't better you as a friend. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he says the best of your friends are the ones who admonish you in private, not in public, not on Facebook, for example, or in front of others. Your best friend can tell you your faults privately in a gentle way. Why? Because with that truth, you elevate. You become a better person. You become the better person. We have to accustom ourselves. Inshallah, we're going to get deeper into this. We have to accustom ourselves with receiving truth and not letting our ego get hurt. I suffer from this. I asked my wife what she thought of the lecture, and I'm waiting for the praises to come, and sometimes I don't hear the praise. And that's okay. I used to get upset with that. But what does she want for me? She wants me to be great. I had to work on my ego. Just a personal example. We all do this. That's why sometimes psychologically we avoid the truth. Sometimes the truth affects us economically. Maybe there's a certain lifestyle you don't agree with. And maybe in class, in university, at work, if you share a view on a particular lifestyle that you don't agree with, you could lose your position, you can be fined, you can be unemployed, you could be removed from your degree. Way, academically speaking and discussing it. So sometimes we dislike the truth for that reason. Economically, it hurts us. Nations do this. That if they ever speak against the crimes of the Americans in Afghanistan, they destroy the country. They blow it back to the Stone Age. And then they withdraw and leave a power vacuum for people like the Taliban to come and take over the country. And they leave behind $83 billion of weapons to put a hostile state, a terroristic style of state, who kill Shia, for example, in the heart of the world where the Shia have some level of say or power. And if you're a country who's allied with America and you speak against this, you get sanctioned. What are sanctions? Sanctions are the restriction of your ability to trade your money with another nation. And America controls the majority of payment transfers in the world. That's what sanctions are. And they give fines and penalties for anyone dealing with your nation if you speak the truth. And the more truth you speak, the higher the punishment. This is another reason. So at a personal level, it can affect us. And when you have people in high positions, we wonder, subhanallah, we voted this person in. They said all these good things. When they got into their position, all of a sudden, they changed their tone. They're not standing up for us anymore. Our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, in the 80s, was a defender of Palestine. In the 90s, we have footage. He's Labour's for the people. Now, he abstains in the UN. He abstains for a vote on a ceasefire on the people of Gaza. Australia abstains. We used to have a greater moral worth in Australia. We used to be proud as Australians. We take moral stances. We try to help. I'm not saying our history's clean. It's far from that. But of course, if we can't give rights to indigenous people and give them a longer than average life, or an average life, I don't expect us to do any better for people that are foreign to us. Al-Muhim. Truth is relative to people, but there are elements of truth that we all agree on. We all agree, for example, that justice is good. We all agree that a person should not be killed for a crime they didn't commit. We all agree with this. We all agree that people deserve to be in safety, whoever they are, whatever lifestyle they live. No one deserves to be aggressed upon by another person because they don't agree with them. This is the staple of Australian society today, multiculturalism. People have different religions, different cultures, sexualities in Australia. Sahih? On the premise, okay, we have a level of freedom of speech. We do. Not absolute, but there's a level there. Unless you cross the line too much, too many interests are affected, maybe your freedom of speech goes, but we have a level of freedom of speech. As long as what you do does not aggress against another person, as long as you don't hurt another human being, or maybe incite violence against another human being, which is also wrong. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi did not incite violence against people. But if they instigated violence against them, then defense was allowed. And everyone agrees with self-defense. It's imbued in the law. The right severity of self-defense is legal. You have to look up what right severity means, of course. Al-Muhim. Important, there are universal things we agree with. Now, that's discussing truth. It's interesting, isn't it? The truth is being honest, or we can get into a level and look at the ab'ad, the spheres of influence that the truth has, and how it impacts us personally and at a global scale. So power. What's power? Power is the ability to influence people or a course of events. The more influence you have over your family, the more power you have. The father or the mother, I tend to believe it's the mother, generally have more power in the house. They have greater levels of influence. Power in the house means that you're able to steer the affairs of your family. You can show what is right and what is wrong. You can discipline your children, but you can also decide to give them a good time. That's power. Their pain and pleasure is in your hands. This is a level of power. That's personal power. Your ability to speak, to act, to lift weights, that's power, physical power. Gives you confidence because you walk around. Why do people that have great bodies walk around with such a confidence, and skinny, unfit people perhaps don't walk with such confidence? It's because the person who's been training their body walks with an air of power. They understand, I'm stronger than a lot of the people around me. People that learn MMA, they train in MMA rather, they feel powerful. It's like, okay. Some people have power through money, economic power. Have you seen how the rich person struts? They can assert that power wherever they like. They want respect in an organization, they can invest in that organization. When they come, you know, if you work in a corporation one day, a large company, and there's a meeting with your investors, that is a different meeting. The food is out, the best of manners. You have to massage them because they put money in your company. Your livelihood is affected by them. Even at the mosque, the one who puts money into the mosque, they respect them. This isn't bad if you put money in play. It's not bad if you train. It's not bad if you have a sense of power. We're going to discuss the good and bad of power, inshallah, after this. But what I'm saying is that these are types of power. That's where we're keeping the conversation. These are types of power. Economic power, physical power, personal power through your character, power of position, whether it be in a family or a company or at a nation state level. When you go bigger than that, there's military power. That a person has accumulated weaponry and the people around them have lesser person, therefore the threat of violence from you is greater, therefore that gives people a certain level of power. Is that clear? Hope this the level of conversation isn't too high for the young ones here. I'm assuming they're smarter than me, inshallah. To say that I'm smart is a compliment. I don't think I am. But inshallah, I want to take this conversation just to a certain level. I want you to have a very deep understanding about what speaking the truth is and what power is, inshallah, and how we relate the two. With a salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. There's media power. Some people have a reach that their words go further than others. My words are going to 10 or 12 odd people. Got a very small influence. Some people have millions of followers. Millions of people hear them. We live in an interesting age. Before social media, before the idea of influencers, it's an appropriate term, came about, people didn't really reach people. Now we have people making channels, making money. They're monetizing their ads on, their channels on YouTube, so they play an advertisement between there, and they make money. We're having Young millionaires come up on YouTube. They do stupid things on video, make sure it's nicely edited, put some music, and they make lots of money being stupid, you know. No real respect with that, but we live in an age where we're accessible and you can build popularity and build an influence in media. Likewise, we have companies that run the media. And some of these companies maybe have an interest in a certain topic, and maybe a certain truth doesn't benefit them, so they don't publish it. Or maybe some truth comes out, so they have to change the narrative. The difference between someone being killed and someone dying. 10,000 have died in Gaza. 10,000 were murdered in Gaza. Different language. That's power. It's different power. Technological power. Some people have technology, you know. Starlink is a fantastic invention by Elon Musk. Not really an invention, a reinvention. The idea of having internet globally. You can be in the middle of the Sahara Desert and you put up your dish and you've got super fast internet. It connects the world. What sort of power did that give Elon Musk? The Ukraine war, Russia has entered Ukraine. We won't discuss the reasons why, whether it's right or wrong, etc. But he's entered Ukraine and he's waging a war against the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians have the support of Europe and America, and they're fighting back. They're losing, but they're fighting. The US government asks Elon Musk, switch on the internet above Ukraine so that the people can communicate, because the telecommunications are down. He switches it on. Then he comes to knowledge that they're being used for drone warfare against the Russians, for example, or drones are being used. So he switches it back off, saying, hold on, people talking is fine with me. Me assisting drone warfare to kill people, I don't want to be part of that. Look at the power he has. Internet's cut off in Gaza, so the government can commit its crimes without being recorded, of course. People demand at Elon Musk, hashtag Elon Musk, at Elon Musk on every social platform. Switch on the internet. Look at the power he has. He doesn't have to ask a government. He's put up technology into the sky. He's got the switch. So he decides to turn it on. I need to confirm whether that's happened or not, but apparently that's in the works. Allah Ta'ala alam. So you find power. The world is looking for power. The nations seek power. China is looking for economic power. Russia is a great military power. It's a resource power. Australia is a resource power. We have the cleanest burning coal in the world. The Chinese love our coal. That's powerful. That gives you a position at the negotiating table. You're 24 million strong as a population. They're 1.3 odd billion. And you have a position to discuss and to bargain with them. See, that's power. A lot of things give people power. Power is present in families, cultures, corporations, as we mentioned. But power isn't negative or positive. It can be negative or positive. Is everyone, inshallah, you're all following me? If you're following me, sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When the Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam to the bedside of every believer and every munafiq, to show the truth to one and the truth to the other, Amir al-Mu'mineen will receive you. What do you have to worry about?